morning, ladies and gents, and welcome to week 4 of our lit class. I hope you guys are staying warm and cozy on this very snowy kind of morning. Today we're going to go over the calendar as we always do, and then we'll talk a little bit about the supporting materials, modules, all that good stuff. So if we take a look at the calendar, you are going to be reading some great work, some excerpts from Winesburg, Ohio, Hands and Mother, both really good. And then you get to read, and you're welcome for this, personal favorite of mine. It's a story by William Faulkner, and it's called A Rose for Emily. It is a weird story, so I hope you guys enjoy it. It's a very short story. William Faulkner wrote a lot about a couple families like in the deep South, and his writing style was really unique. A lot of it was stream of consciousness is kind of what he's known for. In fact, one anecdotal story about his writing process is that he went in a cabin and like mapped out one of his books by just writing it on the walls of the cabin. Because sometimes writers are crazy. So this guy, super fun. Very, very famous American author, wrote a bunch of novels. I actually almost made you guys read one of his novels, but we ran out of time in the class because it's just such a wide time period to cover. So instead of reading one of his whole books, you get to read a short story called A Rose for Emily. Faulkner likes to weave some kind of creepy stuff into his work. You think it's a super normal story, and then you get to the end and you're like, holy cow, what the heck? That was weird. And that's kind of how all his books are. So I hope you guys enjoy The Rose for Emily story. Really short, with a lovely little twist at the end that kind of is creepy. And then you get a breather day before we jump into the Edna St. Vincent Millay poems. Now, I really love this author. She's fabulous. Very much a picture of the time in which she wrote. She falls clearly into the modernist category. However, our textbook did not contain her poems. In this more recent update, the 9th edition shorter update that they did, they decided to cut poor Edna. But I'm not ready to say goodbye to her. So you guys are going to get to read some great poems by Edna. I have the poems copied for you here, so you can just read them here from the calendar. Or if you go into our modules tab, and I will take us there. If we go into our lit class and go into the modules, I've got a link for you there that's got all of her stuff as well. So you can either read them through the calendar, which is fine. They're very short poems, or you can read them elsewhere. So here's Edna's stuff. If you click there, I've got a Word doc for you that's got them all. She's got some great ideas she shares in her poetry, and I'll record a lecture on this and post it by Wednesday, so make sure to check the modules for that. But she does a lot of really solid like feminist writing. She talks about gender stereotypes quite a bit and the women's role in the world. She also talks about war and the struggle there. The actual subtitle of this piece, Apostrophe to Man, is on reflecting that the world is ready to go to war again. Because can you imagine living through World War I, mass casualties. They called it the war to end all wars. And then just a few years later, we're off to World War again. Like, the kind of tension and stress and fear and angst and all of those feelings would just be bubbling up to the surface. And so a lot of poets decided to write about those feelings as we headed into World War II. So you can tell she's got some feelings about this. The first line is, detestable race, continue to expunge yourself, die out. Ouch, right? A little critical of the human race right now if you want them all to just expunge themselves. Expunge means to like wipe out of existence. So really interesting poem. She's got a lot to say. So I've got 4 great poems for you here from Edna. So check out those. And then you do have an assignment regarding Edna's poems this week, specifically how she talks about war. So just like we've done with most of our notes, we're going to be looking at that poem, Apostrophe to Man, that I just read you the first line of. And you're going to be talking about how she feels about war, how you know she feels that about war. In fact, she references Prufrock. Do we remember from last week? The love song of J. Alfred Prufrock. He's got a line where it says, "Do I dare disturb the universe?" She references that in her poem as well. So talk about like how the poets inform each other, how they build on ideas, all that good stuff. So we've got a lot of great work we're going to be doing with these themes. So make sure to check that out. So lots of good reading this week, guys. If you have any questions, just let me know. I would love to hear what you think of Faulkner's A Rose for Emily. And enjoy the readings, stay warm in all this snow, and we'll talk soon.